Hi everybody, how you doing? Let me back up a little bit. This is Glenn Giordano again, and we are doing something a little different. You like that little spin as I came in? That's my little Godfather kind of thing, you know? By the way, that Godfather impersonation is absolutely terrific. It is really, truly uncanny. Anyway, this video is going to be about why do people hire me? And why should they hire you? Especially today, in this climate with the pandemic, I mean, it's really hard. In some ways, you know, even when the pandemic's over, there are more opportunities. There's YouTube and things like that to be exposed or to see, you know, get exposure and have people hear you're playing. And in some ways, it's more difficult because there's more fish in the ocean, so to speak, right? I play and I teach. And I go to houses and I tune people's drums up and I set them up when they're new and all this kind of stuff. And playing requires me to play a lot of styles for a lot of people all the time. And how do I do that? I am considered a true and true freelance drummer. I do not belong to any particular band. Do I have regulars? Yes. But I get the call when the regular drummer is having relationship issues. That's kind of funny, and that's true, actually. That has happened more than once. Sick, they can't make it for whatever reason, and I get that call, right? And yes, I have been very fortunate. I have done the cruise ship thing. I've toured with some national acts, national rock acts, and all that kind of stuff. But day to day, month to month, I've got to make a living. I've got to pay the bills. So how do I do it? And why should they hire me? And why should they hire you? And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm not falsely humble. I don't think that I am great. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. And like for a rock player, I think I'm very good. But compared to, like, you know, Simon Phillips, no, he's great. You know, that kind of John Bonham, he was great. You know, I'm good. Sometimes very good. Jazz? Yeah, I can swing. And am I a great jazz player? No. I don't even know if I would say very good. I'm a good jazz player. And when I'm doing it on a regular basis, I become a better jazz player. So, same thing. You know, I said in the last video, I've got a good handle on Latin grooves. I'm not Mark Guiliana. So, why do they hire me? Why do they hire you? Anyway, there's something that shaped my playing many years ago. And in this video, I'm going to take you through how I prep for a gig and why I prep for a gig. I got a call recently for a Halloween show. And yes, you know, we'll probably wear a mask on the drums. It's kind of good. You have people away from you. And I've been working about once a week, even through the pandemic. And I don't know how. So I got a call for a band I've never worked with before. I got recommended by somebody, and that's another story. But and a lot of the tunes that they're going to be doing in the Halloween show, they're a very top 40 band, are very current, and I don't know them. So how am I going to prepare, and how am I going to do a good job? So we're going to talk about that. But here is my basis of philosophy of how I go about and do these kind of things. When I was in high school, there was a gentleman named Dr. Silverman. He was my music director in my high school band situation, but he also ran the county jazz band, right? Big band, actually. It was, whatever, 21, 22 players from schools all in the county, and they would do like a big spring concert, a big Christmas concert, and I wanted to get into that, so I put my name in to audition. And he told me straight out, he said, well, you know, there's no favorites here. Even though he was in my high school band director, he said, so you're going to have to do the job. And like I said, I was going to lessons with Joe Casadas. I had just really got myself a good double stroke roll, and I would go home and I would do my lessons, and I would play to a bunch of records a lot of times. Everything from the Beatles to Zeppelin to, you know, Clifford Brown and Max Roach, because I wanted to learn all the styles. Because even at that time, when we're talking about 77, 76, no, probably 78, Steve Gadd was a big hero of mine. He had started to become one, and I wanted to learn something about all the styles. Anyway, to cut down the story, we had auditions for the big band, and I received the charts, and it was a bunch of Glenn Miller tunes medleyed together, right? And I went and got a bunch of Glenn Miller albums, and back in those days it was Sam Goody's, and I went and I got my paper route money, and I bought like 2 Glenn Miller albums with songs that I knew were in that medley, like In the Mood, and I can't be honest with you, I can't remember what else was in that medley. But there was even like an 8-bar drum solo that you had to kind of work out. And you had about 2 weeks to prepare, and then you were going to do the audition. So, and if you listen to those old albums, you know, pretty much, I don't know who the drummer was on them. I think Gene Krupa played on some of them. I'm not sure, and I'm being totally honest, I don't know. I know Gene played with a lot of different people. Benny Goodman was the guy he played with mainly, so I don't know if he was with Glenn Miller. Don't know who was. If you do, leave a comment. Let me know who was playing with Glenn Miller in those days on those old albums. Anyway, you listen to most of what was going on in those old Glenn Miller albums, and it was right, the 1, 2, the 3, 4, up off the hi-hat with the hi-hat opening on 1, closing on 2, opening on 3, closing on 4, and the bass drum feathering quietly, bum, 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 all 4. Then, usually you had the hits of the horns being done most of the time off your snare. Pop, you know, doom, doom, pop, pop. And then if it was a bigger hit, which would be tootie, and if you don't know what tootie means, I'm not going to tell you in this. You need to email me, and we need to start talking about lessons to get you to read, because reading will get you gigs that other guys can't get. Continuing. I sat in a room waiting to audition, and the guy who auditioned in front of me, and this, you know, this story has repeated in my life many times. That's why I always think that maybe there's something going on in the universe I don't know about. Anyway, guy in front of me comes in, brings this giant Pearl kit with 2 bass drums and 5 toms and, I don't know, octobons. I don't know what they had back then. I don't remember. It was this giant drum set. It took him a half hour to set up. And he's doing the Glenn Miller tune with the band and auditioning them, and he's throwing in the kitchen sink, the kitchen sink's father, the kitchen sink's mommy, every, you know, doing these quads, and when he got to his solo, he's just going wild. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, you ought to just go home now. I didn't even bring my drum set. I was going to play the school drum set, which was set up, which is a little 4-piece rinky-dink Ludwig. But it was still better than mine, believe it or not. I learned on a Zimgar. I don't even know what that is, but that's a used drum set I bought from my paper route when I was like 13 or something like that. So, and I was in the process, one by one drum at a time, buying a set of Pearl. And I literally did it one drum at a time. They were all different colors. By the time I was like 19, I had this set of white, blue, red. It was crazy. All right? So... So I get in there thinking, all right, this guy's, they're going to make him the guy because he's, you know, was amazing, you know, not me. And I went and I played the record. You know, I played those grooves. I knew the chart. I read it through many times. I practiced it. And I went, and I played the hits with the snare. And I played that genre the way that genre was on the records. And yeah, I had some chops I could throw in. By the way, when I got to the 8-bar solo, I had in my mind thought to do the Sing 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 thing. I did 8 bars of it. You know, if you remember Sing Sing Sing, bum 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 ba dum bum da bum ba da bum 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 bum, and I did like every 2 bars of variation on that for 8 bars, and that was going to be my solo. You know, I was going to speak to that genre. Anyway, Larry Silverman announces at the end of that day, he gets us we're all in a room, and everybody, the sax guys, the clarinet guys, everybody was in a room, right? And he announces who's going to be in the spring concert for the county big band concert, right? Who's going to be the drummer? And it's me. It's me. Now, that guy... kid, he was older than me. He was like he was a senior. I think I was in 10th grade or something like that. Maybe I was in 11th grade, maybe. I don't remember. On the way out, he grabs me by the shirt collar, and in a very, very, high school way, because he was big. He had a leather jacket, and they had those stud things on him. He was extra cool. Most musicians are cool. He was extra cool. And he says that he was going to take me to the parking lot and beat the beep out of me because he should have got the gig, right? I'm calling it a gig. I don't know, it was high school. But I thought quick. And I said to him, "You're right. You're amazing. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know why, Dr. Silverman." That's his actual thing. There's a fly flying around this apartment, and there always is. He's right there now. No matter, he dies after 3-4 days, and then there's another fly. I don't know, it's since I've been here. I've been here like almost 2 years now. There's always one fly in the apartment flying around. I don't know how that happens. My God. Anyway, never mind. That's probably, you don't need to know that. Anyway, I said, "You're right. Let's go talk to him. And I'm going to tell him he should pick you. Because he's wrong. Dr. Silverman's wrong for picking me." And I really didn't say that because I believed it. I said it because, or I wanted it. I said it because I didn't want to get punched in the face. So we go down, we talk to Dr. Silverman, and Dr. Silverman, everybody's in a, Dr. Silverman waits when everybody leaves, and then we're just the two of us and Dr. Silverman, and he says to this other gentleman, I'm not going to say his name, but "Where is he now, huh? I don't think he played with Dick Wagner, anyway, or Mark Farner. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm sure he was, like, even at 17, had incredible chops going on, more so than I did. Anyway, Dr. Silverman says to him, "You are a very technically proficient drummer, and you amazed me sometimes. There was some stuff that you did that I couldn't count through. I was, just, you were all over the place." But when Glenn came in, he played the song. I'm going to say that again. He played the song. He played the song. Then he followed that by he played the genre. And that's what this is about. We are doing a Glenn Miller medley. He didn't say tribute. I think in my head always now tribute because of all the tribute bands, but that's what I did. I played the song. And what Dr. Silverman at the time did for me was he reinforced what I had been obtaining from playing to those records all the time. And I would do my lessons from Joe Casadas, and I was working on my double stroke rolls and all that stuff, but I would play to all those Beatle records and those Stones records and Pink Floyd and Zeppelin, and yes, the jazz records like Max Roach and A Kind of Blue, that album. Jimmy Cobb, for almost that whole album, it's beautiful. He just swings, and he does really so little. Now, comparatively, like Tony Williams was a monster, both great, but you listen to Kind of Blue and Jimmy Cobb, he's swinging unbelievably so, but what's going on, he's not all over the drum set all the time. He's just ting, 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 clock, a lot of that album. And that was influencing me. That was shaping me, and I didn't realize it. And that's what I have kept with me all through. So that's what I want to teach you. And so what we're going to do in this video is you're going to come with me, and we are going to prepare for this Halloween gig with the Alexandria Transit Band. I'm going to pick one, maybe two songs, and we're going to learn them together, and I'll even show you clips. This video is going to take 3 weeks to make, but we're going to do this because step one, right after I do my little intro, is the research. Hey folks, research. Anyway, what am I doing? So the first thing I do when I get a call from a band like this, I'm going to keep saying it, so you go see them, I'm helping them, maybe they'll watch my videos and subscribe. I know, I have no shame, I really don't. So, they sent me their song list. Like I said, they have a lot of current top 40, and I do listen to the current top 40. Occasionally I have Sirius Radio, Howard Stern. I listen to it for that. I listen to, you know, I'm old, I'm 158 years old, so I listen to a whole bunch of things, but I do put on the top 40 station occasionally, but to be honest, I don't own any. I don't have it in my collection. I don't have a whole bastion of CDs, and I'm not wealthy. Okay, so when I see on the list like 10, 15 songs that are more current, that I don't necessarily know, now I know that it's probably not going to be that hard to play. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about big stops, or if there's a particular cool groove that I might not know. And there is. There's one that X's and O's, that's probably not even that current. I don't know, that's how old I am. But the groove is kind of cool. It's a little tom-tom thing, and I'm listening to it, oh, that's kind of cool. So what did I do? The first thing I did was, and by the way, I do recommend doing this if you want to be a freelance drummer. A freelance, any musician. Guitar player, trombone. I fought tooth and nail on this, but I ended up joining with YouTube Music. I pay my $9.99 a month, and I'm able to put tunes into my library and on playlists. So I make a playlist of all of their tunes, not just the ones I don't know, including the ones I played a cajillion times. Why? So that it's just there. It's there reminding me. Here's some biomechanics. You can get it from the books. As you play, and the more you play, you develop a lot of neural maps in your head for drumming. I have a cajillion of them now, right after 40 years. Neural maps. Some are for Latin music, some are for jazz. And so when I'm listening, I know I'm going to play that show. And so I'm listening a little attentively, and I'm picking up certain little things about that tune that's going to stay in me. So in case and this has happened to me many times, and maybe you draw a little blank, or maybe it's a song that you've played some, not a ton, and a gig can have distractions in it. As they do the tune, I begin to remember the hits and the cuts, and also the familiarization. That's a hard one to say, especially for people like left-handed. Hey, you say that pretty good for a lefty. Anyway, believe me, that's actually been said to me for a drummer. Hey, you're really good for a lefty. I remember I said to the guy, "Can you do shuffles like that?" He goes, "No." I said, "I'm good for anybody." I know that's a pet peeve. Anyway, so I actively listen, and when am I listening to that playlist, right? Because there's like 50, 60 tunes, whatever. That's like 2.5 hours of music or something like that. I listen all the time. When I'm in the grocery store shopping, I got my headphones on, I'm listening to that playlist. When I'm in my car driving, I get it on my Bluetooth and I'm listening to that playlist. When I go jogging on the treadmill, I'm listening to that playlist. I am listening and listening and listening and listening to that playlist. As well as the new tunes. Now, I don't always listen to the older tunes that I know. I spend a lot of extra time listening to those new tunes. Here's something else I do, and I don't know if I have it. Yes. So, everybody I work with gets a binder. Now, I haven't started this one yet because it's a couple weeks yet. I write for the tunes that I really don't know. I write out charts. Charts! That's right, it's a dirty word. And this is why reading is important. That's why you got to email me and I got to teach you how to read if you're a drummer, because it will really help you. I don't want to memorize 25 top 40 tunes. I don't want to memorize Pink and Beyonce. I may even like the tunes, but I don't want to memorize what the drummer did. I write it down. Now, you're going to say, well, isn't that a lot of work, Glenn, for just the one gig? Well, you see, but in my head, I'm not thinking of one gig. This drummer might need other days off. He's taking one now. Maybe he's going to need more than one day off. I want to be in those first 1, 2, 3 calls. You know, and if I'm available, I want to be able to go do it. So then I just pull that binder out, and there are those tunes written. What do I write down? I write usually BPM, you know, beats per minute. I write, if there's a particular thing in the groove that I like, I usually will write that up. If it's a cool groove like X's and O's, I'll probably write that groove out. And I write hits in there that I need to play. And will I read the chart the first time on the thing? Well, depends, you know, depending on the tune. Yes, I will have the chart with me on a stand and I will keep an eye on it. Because I'm going to make mistakes on a gig like this. You know, there's 50 tunes and they have arrangements and I may not be familiar with their arrangements that differ from the recording. I'm going to make some mistakes. But for the most part, no one's going to know but me. And it will take some time to do this first gig. But it's going to ensure that I play a more accurate gig. And I have had this said to me more times than I can count. Oh wow, you got charts written on this stuff? Wow, nobody's ever done that for us. Wow. And then when you get stuff right, and you play with them like you played with them for 20 years, who's going to be the first call when their drummer can't make it? All right, step 2. We're going to take a few songs that I think are, well, one in particular I think, that are interesting to me that I've never played before. We're going to take it to the woodshedder. All right, and we're going to work out the groove and the stops, and then we'll see you on the gig. All right. See, you'll probably see a different shirt this time because it's going to be a different day. All right, continuing on how to, you know, keep the gig, and like I said, you know, for this freelance gig I'm doing, I'm subbing on Saturday, except for the bass player. I've never met these guys before. I don't want the gig as a regular gig. It's just not my thing, but I want to do a good job, and I want to be in their first top 3 calls for callback, right? When their guy can't make it, their regular guy, I want to be a guy they call. Why? Because one of their gigs could pay a phone bill, right? And that's really the logistics of it. So here's, like I said, in the second part, what did we do? We made a playlist. I've been listening to these tunes over and over and over and over again when I'm doing the groceries, the laundry, whatever. I'm listening to the tunes. And I took some of the tunes I really didn't know, like this very first one, Turn Down for What, which is a very much a hip-hop song. It's got a very cool little, I guess, electric drum or drum machine part, you know, to start off with. And it's an 8-bar phrases, but I really did not know the tunes, so I wrote out charts. And I did not write out charts for their entire set list. They got like 50 tunes. I just wrote ones that I really either did not know, or maybe it was a song I heard on the radio a bunch of times, but I never really listened to what the drummer was doing. And I wanted to hear it. And sometimes I found out, you know, old songs, like one way or another, I found some cool things the drummer had done. Anyway, in this song, Turn Down for What, now I listened to it, I wrote it out, now I'm going to run through it. All right, and make myself familiar with the tune. And there's a very cool little intro, as we said, and now it's done with a drum machine. And so I'm going to make, this is my little trick I'm going to share with you. I'm going to do the verses and the choruses dead center. I'm going to do this little intro, kind of very drum machine part right at the edge. And if I took this off, let me just, this is not my my favorite snare. I use this for practice, right? I'm up here. And I'm going to do it up there. So it sounds, why? Mainly because it sounds very different. So I'm choking way back. I'm doing my rim shots way up here. Right? Why? Just so it sounds different than the rest of the tune. Right? And I'm doing that on purpose. Right? So let me put my towel back on. I use the towels here when I'm teaching you because I just want you to hear better, and I want the quality to be better until I'm all mic'd out and I have my own studio and, you know, your mouth to God's ear, whatever. So here we go. Let me show this to you first before I do that. So it's 1, 2 EN, 3 EN, a 4, and 1, 2 EN, 3 EN, a 4, and 1, 2 EN, 3 EN, a 4. They actually do throw that E in. That's it, and I'm going to add the bass drum. I don't know if they do. It's very drum machiney, so I'm going to go. if this band became a more regular thing, I might set up on a gig my piccolo snare, and that would give me a different sound too, and just do it over here, and then do the regular body of the tune dead center. I'm probably not gonna do that for this one-off gig, because it's just really one tune that I want to do that on here, and maybe as I do the course of the night, I might find other tunes I want to do that on, but for the sake of one song, I'm not going to bring an extra piece, you know, and that's part of this business too. You know, you try to set up what you need for the gig, you know, you don't want to really go overboard. So let's play through part of this, and let's see how I do. All right, I'm probably going to miss the first bar, but... Basically the tune. That little cool part in the middle, you can see I was kind of not sure if I counted all 16 when I was going for the stop, and I was a little tentative. But, you know, I will probably play this through 2 or 3 times before the gig. And like I said, you know, they do Science You Delivered and Superstition, and I've done those tunes a cajillion times. I'm not going to play through those. These are songs I'm going to play once or twice before the gig. Why? Because I want to be in those top 3 calls. And then once I'm in those top 3 calls, you know, I'm a happy camper, because you never know that one month you're a little shy on gigs. The call comes in, and there you go, your phone bill's paid or your car payment's paid, and there you have it. And if you do this kind of thing and you play with authority, like if you watch my Sandy Gennaro video, you'll see what he said. You play to fit the gig that you're doing. You play to fit the circumstance that you're doing. You play to make the guy or the girl that hired you happy. Next year I'll be interviewing you.
in the box, for the Albert, everybody shout, 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 shout. Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Hi, how you doing? I'm really liking the whole spin thing. I don't know, in my head I think it's like somewhere between Alfred Hitchcock and Marlon Brando. I don't know, and that's what I got. That's what I got in my head. Remember, I'm not the brightest. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. Feel free, man. Take some of my ways, my little, OCD ways that I have in getting ready for the gig. Just to recap, yes, I prepare. I listen some more. I make charts, which makes me listen intently to those tunes I may not know that well. And then I woodshed what I need to woodshed. And then I listen some more, and then I play the gig. So you may have your own ways to do this, and they may be cool too. So go ahead, put them in the comments, put your own video in the comments. I'm down for that, that's cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, I want to say thanks to the Alexandria Transit Band. Special thanks to Adam Brody for hiring me for the gig, and Alexandria Bailey for allowing me to film Turn Down for What, which was a kind of fun song to play during that show. And I hope I get to work a little more with them. I did have a lot of fun that night. Anyway, go see them. They're a great band. Go to their website, their Facebook page, Alexandria Transit Band. Like and subscribe on my page, and I'll see you in the next video.